Morning. Thanks for joining us this morning for another of our add-on showcases. But we're loving doing more and more of these things. And actually today, as you can see, I'm joined in person by one of our great add-on providers. This is Kiri from Cooking the Books. Welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to try this today and see how it goes having Kiri join us. And we've got we've actually got Tasman from Tanda. I knew I was going to say that wrong. But anyway, we've got Tasman from Tanda joining us from the Gold Coast today. Today we're looking at two add-ons that work really well in the hospitality space. Cooking the Books is a restaurant management type system. And we've got Tanda, which is a staff management solution. And so we're going to dig into those today. Before we do that, let's just touch on what these videos are. These videos are a chance for us to spend some time with our add-on partners exploring what are the key benefits and the key things that they offer that help solve those pain points that many businesses face today. In this case, of course, it's in that hospitality space. So things like looking after your staff, looking after the invoices in the kitchen, looking after those sort of activities around payroll. The way the video works is we have a lot of time. We spend about 10 minutes chatting to each of the partners, and one of the lovely team on the other side of the camera has a little bell that they'll ring at around the 9-minute mark, just to let us know that we're sort of on time and on track. The videos are archived, they're immediately archived and are available for you to share with other partners, other customers and business users, and the links and things are directly below the video here. As Cooking the Books and Tanda are talking about their solutions, their website links are there, so at the end of the video, one click and you're off to their site to find out more details. So, I think that's enough from me this morning. Why don't we get the show on the road? So, let's start with Cooking the Books. We'll go alphabetically, it's nice and fair. And of course, we've got lovely Kiri sitting here, so it's easy to start with her this morning. So, Kiri, we talked about Cooking the Books being a restaurant management or kitchen management platform. Can you just talk about it in your terms? What is Cooking the Books?
So Cooking the Books is the complete kitchen manager. It looks after everything from your ordering to your stock taking to your recipe costing, everything that you need to do with food in your kitchen, it looks after. Fantastic.
So do we need to be a certain size of business before Cooking the Books really makes I mean, if I'm just a small cafe, can I use it, or do I need to be a big restaurant?
Absolutely. Everything is completely tailored to the individual business. So regardless of your size, there's something you can get out of it. Normally with your smaller business, it's all about the wastage, and you want to make sure that you're not wasting that food, which equals money. With the bigger businesses, it becomes more revenue, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
They want to make sure that they're making more money on every dish, but they can afford to throw away a couple $100 worth of nuts, and they're not going to notice it as much as the small cafe.
Exactly. I'd imagine a small one, that's a lot of money sort of side of things. So you talked about wastage there in particular. Is that the key pain point or the key area of frustration for these sort of businesses, or are there other areas that Cooking the Books really sings and works really well for these businesses?
So yeah, wastage is a major one. The other thing is with all your food costs at the moment, you cost it out, the prices change the following day with your fruit and vegetables. So every few months you've got to go back in, you've got to cost those recipes again, and you might find out that for the last 6 months you've been selling something you've actually been losing money on.
True.
And it's a bit too late to do anything about it then. So it's all about lifetime food costing, forecasting your profit, and just giving you as much information as possible so that you can be as profitable as possible.
And is this software that the business owner uses, or is it software that the chef and the team actually in the kitchen are working in every day?
It's a lot of both. So you can have as many users as you want looking into it. For most people, that involves front of house, putting in some of the revenue, the kitchen obviously placing and receiving their orders and writing all their recipes. Of course, the business owner wants to see how everything's going.
Of course.
And then they usually have their bookkeeper logging in on the back end to do all the exporting into MYOB.
Right, excellent. So on that note, what sort of information is shared with the MYOB platform?
All of your invoices are shared with MYOB, so it means that from the chef placing the order to going straight to your accounting system, it's all done in one step, so you don't have to put in the information over and over again.
No double entry.
No
Brilliant.
double entry.
Love that.
And you know, with MYOB, that's about all the information that we can share. But obviously, for the actual accountants and bookkeepers, there's a lot of reports that are very useful for them that they can pull out of that.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so how about we actually get it up on the screen and have a talk through it? So I'll push a button on my one to bring your screen up, and you're driving.
Sure. So to get into Cooking the Books, you just need an email login. So it is a live email because there's some reports that get sent straight to that email, and as I mentioned, you can have as many people as you want logging into that one database.
Nice.
So there are a lot of things here. I'll show you quickly for multi-level databases. You can link them all up. So if you are talking about the massive chain restaurants, you can put them in a nice little tree to get all the data. So that means that when you're in this head office here, you actually see every single outlet all at once.
That's nice. So it's nice and easy and quick for somebody to drill into the Yarra restaurant versus the Bondi restaurant, or the, I can't read, the Springfield Orion up in Queensland.
Absolutely.
What if that's new at Tasman?
Probably, yeah. It sounds nice and
it does, doesn't
warm.
it?
So obviously you've got the recipe books and all the sort of stuff that the chefs are going to be doing. So here you've got all of your information.
Fantastic.
All your ingredients. That one doesn't have one, for example.
It's always the fun of picking examples, isn't it? Yes. So
this costs it for you straight from your stock list. So you can actually go in and see how much money you're actually making. So $7.26 they're making after food every time they sell one of these amaretto parfaits.
Right, okay. So individual breakdown, costs on items, and then rolled up into the finished product.
Absolutely.
Nice,
yep.
Nice. And it does that automatically for every item in the recipe cards.
Every single item, yeah.
Great.
So it's everything links back into your pantry list.
Yeah.
So absolutely everything is costed. As soon as you put it into a recipe or into a stock take or into wastage, it knows how much it costs.
And so that's the report information that's pulled out, and the accountant sits down and has a field day on that because they love all those deep details, and they say, well, you're not making enough on that hamburger, you're not making enough on this one, you can change this, your staff costs or your food costs need to be
Absolutely,
yeah,
and sometimes chefs need a firm hand from someone who knows better because the burger might be something they've been making for 20 years and they just don't want to let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they need to...
And the price of meat's gone up and the price of veggies has gone up during that time.
We call it taking the emotion out of the decision.
Perfect.
So obviously what all the partners really want to see is the link to MIB, which obviously comes from the invoices. So every single order that gets placed, once it's received, comes into an invoice. As you can see here, there's some credit notes pending on a few. And these just go straight into your MIB. So you've got your credit notes or your invoices in there, and it also links to that order reference number.
Is this a manual input in the sense that I push a button, or is it automated at like 11 p.m. every night?
No, it is a manual process, so you just have to
when you want that done, you push a button.
Click a button, log into your MIB in the cloud, and it transfers the invoices.
Perfect.
It allows you to select which invoices you actually want to transfer. There's some stuff that you need.
Right, so it gives you a bit more control over the data input, but you don't have to re-enter it. It's still just a click of a button.
It's still just a click of a button. Nice. Yeah. Obviously, because it's normally the chefs that are processing these orders, you do want to double check before you put it into your accounting system and cause too many issues if there is something wrong.
And as my brother's a chef, we love chefs,
but we do.
But we know that they are perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got so much to do that it is easy to turn a $600 invoice into a $6,000 invoice.
Totally, it's so easy to do. Yes, it is.
Down the bottom here, we've got all your live food costs. So as your revenue gets put in, you can see how much you've ordered. That gives you your daily food cost percentage, as well as your week to date, month to date, and year to date. So obviously, this is actually not started at the beginning of the month. They must have set it up to be midway through the month. It's obviously a couple of days into it to be a 0.16%.
Cool.
That is extremely good. The general rule is 30%. I always say if you're sitting at 30% and you do waste something, that means you're losing money. So ideally, you want your food costs to be under 30%. So it gives you that room for something to go wrong. Maybe you get a bit quieter, have a bit of wastage, then kind of drop something. If you're sitting at 30%,
a little bit of fat built into the system to support
actually
business
get rid
growth.
of that. Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, so we've seen the invoices and bits and pieces. What else have we got in here that you want to show us?
I'll show you some of the reports. So obviously the food cost report is the major one. So this goes off what you've stock taked, how much you've spent, how much you've earned.
Great.
And it gives you that nice food cost percentage. So this one was sitting a bit high at 34%. And also stock valuation. Now this is something that accountants really love. It shows you how much is actually sitting on the shelves.
Wow.
So hospitality is one of the only businesses that sort of gets away with not keeping stock inventory. No one else would ever operate that way.
Yep.
But this actually shows you how much you've got on hand and how much money that's actually worth. So your 2 bottles of apricot brandy there, that's actually $50 that you've got sitting on the shelf. It's probably ordered in once for a special and never used again.
But it's still sitting there.
It's still sitting there, and it's $50 that you've spent. So it sort of reminds you that that's money sitting on the shelf and that you do need to put it into some sort of recipe, get rid of it, and make some money off it.
Fantastic. Excellent. All right. So there's a bit of a snapshot into the Cooking the Books system. Curie, some of the other questions we get asked around add-ons, especially in the hospitality space, businesses are so price conscious. What does Cooking the Books cost to run a business?
Absolutely. So it's $120 per month for a single database. So that includes all of your setup, ongoing support, and unlimited users.
Fantastic. Excellent. So you mentioned another thing there, support. Partners and customers are always asking us, what support have they got, especially for the partners as they're plugging in and setting up and often hand-holding the businesses. So do you have support for them? What have you got?
Absolutely. So we've got manuals, we've got how-to videos, we've obviously got email and telephone support. And we do give as much support to the partners as what we do to each of the businesses, and that includes ongoing, so getting everything set up. And then when they want to actually know, how do I find out this information, what's the best report for this, we always encourage people to give us a call, because there's a chance that there's already a report in there to give you that information. And if there is something that you particularly want, we can actually build a report for you if there is a particular client that needs a different report.
Excellent. And that's the beauty, I think, of some of the startups. There's a bit more flexibility in the way that we structure things, and the companies work with you. So the last thing I want to ask you as well is, what's in it for the partners? Is there a partner program, a referral program, or something to support them from that point of view?
Absolutely. So we do have a $50 rebate if you do refer a business on to use Cooking the Books.
Nice.
So all you have to do for that is just get them when they download their trial to put in your business name into the promotional code, and then we'll contact you when they make payment.
Excellent. Alrighty. Well, so there's a good snapshot of Cooking the Books, a really solid tool for helping hospitality businesses, those particularly with a kitchen, to upskill and to improve that, to remove data entry or double data entry into the system, and just optimize the way they run administration on their business and get a better understanding of the financial life of their business. As we mentioned before, there are links below here, so you can drill through to those to find out more information and get hold of Curie and the team there. So now we're going to change tack a little bit, and we'll go and jump up to Brisbane and have a chat to Tasman from Tanda. So let me just come over here and bring Tasman back into the broadcast by doing that. And Tasman needs to remember to unmute himself so we can talk to him. Morning, Tasman. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Kieran. Lovely to join.
Excellent, excellent. So we talked about Tanda being a staff management system. There's Tasman, now that I've actually got him on screen. We've got, so we talked about Tanda being a staff management system. Do you want to tell us in your own terms, what is Tanda?
Yeah, so Tanda is probably one of the fastest growing pre-payroll tools that turns your business chaos into clockwork and helps process payroll in seconds. So we're all about the automation of timesheets, the automation of rosters, the automation of pay rates, and syncing all that information with your accounting system.
Fantastic. So you're talking about the system being live from, or removing the need for data to be sucked across. Is data automation input the main problem for business? You know, staff clocking in and clocking out, or what's the key pain point in a business that Tanda solves?
Yeah, so we can save about 60 minutes per employee through the elimination of data entry, so that's a data re-entry and the manual calculation of it as well, through the elimination of paper timesheets. So instead of having to mess around with each individual's employee's timesheet, you can simply automate that through a time clocking device, which is pushed to a central account, and then you never have to deal with a paper timesheet ever again, which completely alleviate that burden for clients.
Yeah, fantastic. So listen, what's a typical customer look like? Is there a certain size of a business where this staff management stuff actually becomes more of a pain than it would be just, you know, manually doing it in Excel, for example? What's a typical customer look like?
Yeah, so our clients actually range across multiple industries, including hospitality, retail, franchises, manufacturing, health, logistics. But really, it's when you have shifted in hourly employees, whether you have different rates, and when you get probably around over 15 staff, or multiple locations, because it turns into a hassle and a nightmare, and payroll turns into more of a chore every week that you have to do, which could take you hours. A lot of our users have gone from taking 10 hours a week doing their payroll right down to 5 minutes. It really is a one-click job, and it definitely can save you up a whole lot of time.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to actually sit and talk to the restaurants. We've got one just down the road who's actually using both cooking books and Tanda, and having a chat to them about the time savings they've seen. And I remember her coming in after you released the new ability to push payroll information direct into MYB with a big smile on her face and saying she just run the whole thing in like 2.5 minutes or something rather silly, and just this big grin on her face was really exciting. So yeah, we are seeing businesses save substantial time by using tools like this.
Yeah, and what we like to say is, I was just going to say what we like to say is actually timesheets are probably the most boring thing in the world. So if you can get someone excited about timesheets and their payroll, I think we've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's fantastic to see. So we've talked a bit. Do you want to throw it up on the screen and take us through some of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I'll just bring it up now. And we'll just go through a quick run of it, and just we'll cover things like the timesheets, the rosters, and the pay automation, and the reason why we love working with MYB so much. I'm just trying to bring up the screen share now. Here we go. So I'll just jump straight into it.
Perfect.
Excellent. So obviously the first thing you need to get started with Tanda is importing your staff from MYB. Now this is really simple to do because we just sync with the MYB account and extract all that data across. So this would just be what the My Team profile page looks like, and this is where you can see your staff data matches with the MYB and the ID. They issued a passcode for use with the free time clock that we send out. And you can really drive into your cost reporting with setting up departments if you have different locations, and your tags, which is including of different pay rates or different roles that employees have within the business.
Great. And so all of that information is pulled out of Account Right?
Yeah, straight out of Account Right Live and sync directly with Tanda. Now, the next step you want to do is obviously you need to set your roster for next week. Now, your roster is not just telling staff when and where they're working, but it's also about budgeting. So it's about knowing exactly how much your staff are costing you for next week. Now, this is a typical roster, and you can see it's quite intuitive. It's very colourful. It's kind of like the building blocks of your roster, and it's quite arty. So you can set up particular employees with their shifts, and you can colour code them based on their roles. So in this example, it might be a restaurant, and Jane's working from 11 to 3, and her role would be you can change it. So you can color code based on the different jobs that those employees will have.
Barista or chef or waitress or such like.
Yeah, exactly. So if it's a restaurant, some people might be front of house, some people might be the chefs, some might be on waiting, and then when you SMS that and email it out to staff, they're actually told exactly what stall they're working, where they're working, and the role that they have to do. And that also helps with your cost, setting up cost centers in the business as well. Now the roster, you can really drill down into a lot of people. So that would be a weekly view, but here you can see it based on your shifts. So you can have a morning shift, an afternoon shift, a night shift, and you can categorize the different types of shifts you have in your business. And you can also see it on a day view as well. So this is a little bit more for those analytical types that like to really drive into, looks a little bit more like Excel. And you can see it, this is just the day view of your roster as well. But really what we say is the most important thing about the roster is getting the costs right. So you can set up exactly how much it's costing you. You can drill down per staff member, per day, and set up cost guides as well. So if you're a franchise, for example, the owner might have a cost of labour to their sales as a percentage, and every single business needs to hit that target before they send out their roster. So this, you can really drill down into the bottom line.
Cool.
Did you want to see how the timesheets and the time clock works, Kieran?
Yeah, we've got a couple of minutes, so yeah, you can show us that one.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, this is really the exciting bit. So after you set up your first roster, you can really automate it and never have to worry about it again, because you can set up your template and just reload that in and send it back out to your employees. But really where you can drive into the cost savings is through the accuracy around timesheets. So this is basically where we'd send out the free time clock as part of the subscription, and employees, when they would arrive to work, would actually clock in and clock out using a 4-digit PIN, and a photo would be taken at each instance, and that pushes the exact time that someone clocked that in up into your centralized cloud account, so you can monitor that remotely and in real time. So this is so green's obviously clocked in. Now this is just historical figures, and red would be clocked out. So this is just your live feed here. But you can also see exactly who's at work today. So we know that Dan's at work, James at work, Nadine's at work. Look, Daniel Hardman's at work, and he was rostered from 6 to 1, but he actually arrived at 7:54. Now that's nearly over 2 hours late. So we would know in that instance, we're not paying Daniel from 6 because he arrived at 7:54, but we would have gotten an alert as well through the system or on our phone or email. So we know if we had to replace Daniel, that we could easily get in contact with someone else to make sure the business is running smoothly. Now,
Very handy offsite.
yeah. So our statistics show you'll save about per employee 10 minutes a day through timesheet accuracy, clocking in and clocking out. But it's also about the automation of timesheets, because you no longer have to worry about that data re-entry. So basically, as they clock in, clock out, that's pushed to their cloud timesheet. And this is just an example here. So we can see all the clock in, clock outs of Monday, and obviously today being Tuesday, Andrew's only just been at work. So if you do your pay run on weekly, we'll save about 5 minutes per timesheet every week. So that's per employee, and that's simply because instead of
there, so we're pretty much out of time. I do want to touch on a couple of those other key aspects, though. What price is Tanda to run in a business?
Yeah, so for a business owner, it's only $2 per employee per week, and we don't charge for setup or maintenance. And as I said before as well, the time clock, the device that employees use to clock in and clock out, is included free.
Fantastic, excellent. And on that side of things, what have you got for support for a customer getting up to speed, or one of the partners listening who wants to take this and start recommending it to their customers about helping them understand how the product works? What have you got from a support point of view?
Yep, so we know there's really no point in building a great system if people don't know how to use it, or if they just might have an issue down the track that they don't know how to get help with. So we have the traditional types such as email, phone support, but we also have this nifty little feature here with live chat. So if any users on the site using the system and they have a question, they can get in contact with us in real time if chat's open, and then you can just ask us directly online. So this is our support hero, Jake, here, and if I had an issue, I would just type that to Jake, and he could respond straight away, and then we can get on the case immediately.
Yeah, the fun thing with that is we're actually trialing that exact same chat system for Tanda on our add-on listing pages. So if you're looking at the Tanda site on the MYB listings, that chat window is there as well, and you can talk directly to their team, which is fantastic. So the last question there really for you, Tasman, is what have you got in a partner program or anything for the partners who want to know more and then start recommending this to their customers?
Yeah, so we've got a two-fold incentive for partners. One is that they can actually open a partner account which can amalgamate all of their users onto one system, and if they process pay for those employees, you can actually treat it as a mini payroll bureau to speed up the process of collecting of those timesheets and automating it for pay. but we also have a 20% revenue share as well. So it's not only good for your practice, but in terms of growing your practice on the bottom line, there's also a benefit as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We're out of time now. So, Tasman, great to have you join us this morning.
Yeah, my pleasure, Kieran. Thanks for dialing in.
Thanks. So, as I mentioned before, there's two great systems there, and the links to both of them are below. Both of them have easy onboarding systems for you to get up and running, great websites to help you understand more, and as you heard from both of them, they've both got things there for you, the partners, to get involved and start recommending these solutions to your customers. We hope that this has been something you've enjoyed. It's been great having Kiri come and join us this morning as well. And look, we're doing more of these videos over the coming time. Actually, as a note, Partner Connect is coming up in August, and both of these companies will be with us there. So come and see them there. Come and have a chat to Kiri and to Tasman, and the rest of the team from both of the channels will be there. Great chance to really get some more hands-on and ask some questions with you, both in Wellington and on the Gold Coast. So that'll be a bit of fun. We're going to be doing some of these from the Gold Coast too. So the next one of these coming up in August, the theory is we'll be broadcasting live from the show. So that should be a bit of fun. We actually have no idea how we're going to do that, but we'll solve that when we get there. So look, we'll get on with that. As I mentioned, the video is archived, is available for you below here. We hope you've learned something from this and found it informative. And there's a comment piece below here as well now on these pages, so you feel free to add some comments and some thoughts, anything we can tweak and adjust, and we will take that away and learn from it. And if you've got any comments, good ones as well, we'd love those too. Otherwise, that's us for today. We'll see you next time. Cheers.